As he's being arrested, she's telling him, I want you to come home. He, of course, gets him on bond. He can't have any contact. Once the bond conditions get lifted, she's contacting him through text and saying, hey, let's meet you and the girls get together and we can go to the zoo, we can go to a park.
Okay, Mr. Kelly,
The point of all that is control. The woman is trying to control not only the narrative, but the kids and the father of the kids. How are you doing, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the channel. Now, the divorce court cases I usually find them very interesting because it's so obvious to see what is wrong with marriage when you go to divorce courts. That's why I have a little series that I do every now and then that talks about, or at least reacts to court cases and what's going on in there. So today we are going to have the usual where the woman is not following court orders and now she's about to face some repercussions. Without further ado, let's get into this.
this time and place set for the show cause hearing in this matter for contempt for failure to provide parenting time. I'll let you know we're going to take some brief, testimony from the parties. I'll let everybody know that everybody will have an opportunity to speak. So
what he means is that the mother has been refusing to hand over the child because they have like a visitation or whatever. Is it visitation? I'm not sure what you call it, Americans. Just, you can let me know down below. But she's not giving up the child when the child is supposed to be with the father. So a lot of the times I hear that this happens a lot, but there isn't real repercussions for the woman for denying the father access to the children. So in this particular case, I don't know if that's the case, but I think it was different. I think that's why I picked this video. Let's continue.
don't interrupt anyone else or don't interrupt the court. You'll have an opportunity to speak your piece. So on the we do have the show cause hearing. We also have the motion for change of custody and parenting time. I'm going to address the motion first because that will be the easiest matter to get resolved. So, Mr. Kelly, you can proceed with your motion.
Your Honor, essentially, that motion is based primarily on the issues we've had ongoing in relation to compliance with the court order and my client getting parenting time. It's directly and impacts the child custody factors, and I'll name the ones that are impacted due to this withholding occurrence. The love, affection, and emotional ties existing between the parties. It looks at the emotional bond. Him being prevented from seeing his kids is preventing him to continue that emotional bond and nurture that emotional bond, which he had prior to this latest withholding that has started back on December 27th. Factor B, the capacity and disposition of the parties involved to give the child love and affection. That focuses on the ability to, again, parent to foster an emotional bond in the future. He's having a hard enough time in the present, again, because she's not keeping in compliance with the court order, and he's not able to see these girls to be able to have a solid relationship and foster that relationship. The length of time they've lived in a stable, satisfactory environment, I'd submit to the court. Defendant's home is not stable, considering the allegations she's made that have been investigated by CPS twice, police twice, and both been denied. Nothing's come of it, which leads me also to the moral fitness of the parties involved, which ties into the same factor. But we have to keep in.
It seems to be a very common trope for most women to accuse the men of some sort of abuse so that they are able to be punished some more. I'm not sure if this is true, but didn't you see this in her before you really got married, had kids, lived together for years? Didn't you see those character traits in her that she can be vindictive? Because in my opinion, I think that people just see those red flags and they ignore them. So now, right now, we are seeing a child whose life has begun in turmoil because they can't bond with the father, which, as we know, is very important to keep them on the straight and narrow. Right now, there's, I'm sure, a lot of division of assets. If there's any investments he was making, it's been disrupted. Didn't you see this in her character? That is really my question. Let's continue.
Mind you, at the beginning of this case, he was charged with domestic violence in relation to her essentially going after him to get keys to his truck so she could get some pot and smoke it. As he's being arrested, she's telling him, "I want you to come home." He, of course, gets him on bond. He can't have any contact. Once the bond conditions get lifted, she's contacting him through text and saying, "Hey, let's meet you and the girls get together and we can go to the zoo, we can go to a park."
Okay, Mr. Kelly,
The point of all that is control. The woman is trying to control not only the narrative, but the kids and the father of the kids. It doesn't matter how unreasonable her behavior is. The whole reason she's doing it is to control the narrative and everything that happens. This has worked so well for so many women for a very long time. Let me put this in full. So many women have been able to use abuse, tears, and whatnot to be able to pull this on men so many times. I'm not sure if I have a silver bullet decision or way that you can get over it or how you can fight it. But it would seem for many men this sort of kind of accept it for a very long time, so it becomes part of the interaction they have with the mother of their children. So changing it becomes even more difficult now later on. Let me go back.
does this relate to your motion?
It's related to, Your Honor, again, the moral fitness involved, as well as the stable, satisfactory environment, in that she's accusing him of these girls. But before all this, she's wanting him to come home. She's wanting a relationship with him. She's wanting her family essentially reunified.
She knows very well what such an accusation can do to a man's reputation. She knows very well that this can be detrimental. It always is detrimental. That's why she's doing it. But on the other side, you see, that's what I was telling you. It's about control. Oh, we want to see you. The girls want to see you. At the same time, telling this other person that, oh, you're abusing the kids. So please forgive me. There's that noise of you've just heard. Yeah, there's a construction going on. But I hope it wasn't too disruptive. But that's the problem we have here. Because a lot of men have allowed themselves to be in this position. So don't be that guy. Don't put yourself in this position.
Unified. Those two things don't jibe together, Your Honor. And I would think that essentially it's a fabrication, which would go again to the moral fitness.
Now, first of all, it is not just unhinged behavior. It is controlling behavior that's been allowed by society. And more we are seeing this, but the wheels turn very slowly when it comes to the big bureaucracies like government, courts, and whatnot. In this particular case, she shouldn't even be allowed to be with the kids. If she's trying to accuse the father falsely of doing those heinous things to the kids, how is that person fit to be around kids? They are not.
And also to the mental and physical health of the parties, Your Honor. You're making these allegations, these terrible allegations, but on the other hand, you're still wanting the same guy who's supposedly doing this stuff to come into your house. Finally, Your Honor, the unwillingness and ability to facilitate and encourage a relationship. Again, this is the fourth motion we're here this morning on, Your Honor, for him to see his girls. She doesn't follow your court orders. She withholds them for no valid reason. And she's clearly shown she's not going to facilitate a relationship between him and his kids. I think that's more than enough that gets us over the threshold of a change in circumstance or proper cause, because these things are having a significant impact on these girls' lives in terms of having a relationship with their mother. So we would request, as part of our relief, that you set this matter for an evidentiary hearing. We're also requesting during the interim that my client get temporary parenting time starting today, and that he continue to have them until the evidentiary hearing, that mom's parenting time be supervised at her expense, because she's clearly shown an unwillingness to follow your rulings or to comply with your court orders. I think if you don't do that, she's going to take these kids and run, and we're going to be in a bigger mess than we are today.
Would there be a point in any life right now that a man would decide to just ignore court orders, even in this case where a man keeps the kid and then the mom goes and say, no, then he's not giving me the kid? Do you know how fast that man will be in jail? He will be in jail before everybody spells jail. But you see, this is the double standard that we must always propagandize against. This is what this kind of videos and the other thousands of people doing is for. That the narrative changes so much that these courts, the politicians, the activists, the organizations, all of them realize there's a price to pay when you are unfair to men. And this is what a lot of these videos we see out here, the court videos, is showing that for a very long time, women have been allowed to run amok, destroying families, doing all these things, destroying investments, and while at the same time the state is supporting them. So that's really what it is. I know sometimes people are like, oh, why do we need all these videos? It's because if you stop making these videos, the other side makes it 2-3 times more videos. And you'll never be able to catch up culturally, because this is a cultural phenomenon that must be changed. All right?
Okay, thank you. Ms. Couch, if you wish to speak to the motion.
I had some statements, but it's just what I had submitted to the court.
Okay, go ahead, tell me, and then
Okay, would you like me to stand?
whatever you wish. If it's more comfortable sitting, go
Not
ahead, but
pretending
speak
to
up a
be
little.
so
so-
Okay,
nice and polite.
I said that his first statement was true, but the second statement that he said was false. I said I previously tried to change parenting time because of the videos the plaintiff had been watching. It was reported to Penfield's police department because plaintiff was previously residing in Penfield. I spoke to their sheriff where we looked at the videos together, and he told me that he would be conducting a search and not to address the matter to the plaintiff because he would need time to get 2 search warrants, and the investigation was never done. The next statement is also false.
The problem is this. You see, she was trying to get the man in more trouble, but when the policeman went to check and found there was nothing, he decided, we are going to ignore this. So they were not lying. She is lying because they're saying there are videos and I showed the sheriff and they said they're going to investigate and they didn't. Why? Because she was full of it. She was lying.
On December 27th, after the children's bath, Amelia Conley was heavily touching her private area. The fourth statement is false. CPS is not taking the proper steps to ensure the minor children's safety, and I did mention police involvement in the last hearing as well. The fifth statement is also
So it was not only the CPS, that's the Child Protective Services, it was also the police. They all dismissed it. So she is the victim here, despite the fact that we know that the courts and the police lean for women more positively. So she's trying to convince the rest of the world that no, she's the exemption. The exemption. No, she's a liar.
false. Errors were made by the plaintiff's attorney. The sixth statement is also false. There is supposed to be a pending CPS case, and I was never told otherwise. CPS and I have spoken on numerous occasions and decided that the best course of action was therapy, which the minor children are attending at Summit Point. I do have proof of all of that as well.
The children are in therapy because she's distressed them. She's put them in a position where she can sacrifice them if she's to have her way. That's the way it is. Gentlemen, be careful you have children with.
That's also false. I was never told that they were declining to investigate the police. Number 8, it's false. In early 2024, my mom threatened to call CPS on me because of the children's odd behavior, requesting that I get them checked by the doctor. I had the doctor examine
Now, even her mother, all right?
them at their 2-year checkup, and almost 2 months later, the plaintiff was arrested for domestic violence. I originally withheld the kids because of the plaintiff's knowing that the plaintiff was not mentally stable enough for unsupervised visitation, and I withheld the children again after finding videos and the minor. The ninth statement is true. The 11th statement is false. The 12th, I'm unsure of the plaintiff's employment, but the plaintiff has stopped paying child support and I still stay at home with my children.
You may notice something. She's representing herself. She didn't start off representing herself, but she went through enough lawyers for all of them to see that this was a nut case. That this is not a good person. In fact, many of the lawyers either she fires them or they leave because, hey, this is a mad person who's trying to get revenge for no reason other than probably being left. As you can see, she's not been taking it easy on the meals either.
Number 13, I have lived at the residence that the FOC has on file since December 10th, 2024. The 14th statement, I'm unsure of the plaintiff's relationship status. I have friends and family in Michigan, and I lived in Indiana until I was 18, and most of my family resides there. Number 15, I would like the court to consider changing the current custody orders and issue no further contact between the minor children and the plaintiff. Plaintiff should be held accountable for his actions regardless of stature or representation. That's all.
Okay, thank you. I don't need anything else, Mr. Kelly. What the court will do in this matter is the court has read the pleadings. Obviously, you're well aware of the file in this case. The court does believe that the plaintiff has met the Vavarka threshold of proper cause, change of circumstances sufficient for an evidentiary hearing. So the court will schedule an evidentiary hearing in this matter.
Now, I'm going to pause that because it's already gone on 17 minutes. So I'm going to be following up on a part 2 to see exactly what's going to happen. So I'm going to post that tomorrow. But so far, you can see what happens. What she said, what the husband's lawyer said, she came back with a rebuttal claiming all the things were false. The CPS was against her, the police were against her mother is against her. So all these people are against her. She's the nice, innocent angel, isn't it? Now, gentlemen, the whole point of this is for me, actually, I have to be honest with you, I'm trying to dissuade as many of you from getting married as possible until things change. You just need a small percentage of us to say, if it's 10, 15%, that's enough. There'll be enough women, because women are more than men. There'll be more than enough women crying out to their representatives, their activists, their NGOs, the media. They'll be crying about it because you know what? Despite all the decades of brainwashing with feminism, the women still want men. They still want us in their lives. And of course, we do want them in our lives if they're well behaved and they can create a legacy for us. But because a lot of these things are not even on the table anymore, in fact, you end up with a very mediocre female in the end who has walked the streets. So I don't know. I don't know if this is a good way to argue for marriage, because there's really very little, advantages other than the cute giggling of your children, maybe. Maybe that's enough for you. I don't know. But a lot of the times you might not even have access to them, as we're seeing here. So I don't know what you think about this. Please leave me a comment down below. Let me know, especially if you are married and you have children. If you've gone through this, what did you do? If you've not gone through this, is there anything you're doing to make sure that this doesn't happen to you? Yes, like paternity tests and prenuptial agreements, maybe? Well, leave a comment down below, like the video, share the video, and of course, subscribe to the channel. And until next time, peace.